I just felt like there was something missing. You know what I mean? And obviously I'm talking about the Harry Potter TV show trailer that just dropped. Well, it dropped a few days ago. And yeah, the whole world is reacting to it. And that's not an exaggeration. The whole world literally is reacting to it. And no doubt for all of you who may not be paying too much attention to it, you've probably seen it. Twitter, YouTube, everywhere, right? And unfortunately, it is coming with a lot of sort of negativity and backlash. And I say unfortunately because it's not like I want this to be really bad. But I am in the camp of I don't think a Harry Potter TV show is even necessary. We don't even need it. The movies hold up so well anyway. But you know what? HBO wanted to do it. So yeah, here we are. But you know, ever since it got announced, and then I think around 9 months ago when we got the casting, especially for a lot of the main characters, came out, and that came with a lot of backlash and controversy. I will touch on that in a sec as I talk about the trailer. We were all just waiting for that first look. And I don't just mean screenshots, like the actual first like trailer. And it finally dropped. And I'm going to be completely honest, it's not a bad trailer. Like, it's far from bad, but I wouldn't say it's great. And my issue is, there's a few little issues I have, but my main issue is, and if you haven't guessed by the title of this video, by the way, it's I didn't feel the magic. You know what I mean? And I don't mean stupefy and all them spells. I mean the actual magic and vibe you get when you're seeing these characters in the wizarding world. Just like how you get when you watch the movies. Whether or not you're the biggest lover of the films or not, you cannot deny when you're watching them, you just feel like you're in the universe of Harry Potter, right? Because it just has that sort of vibe and feeling. And part of that you could say is down to the music, due to the cinematography, just the way it is. And look, I'm not trying to say like, this is not going to change. We've only seen a little glimpse or tease of it. You're right. But I can only go by what I've seen, and from what I've seen so far, the production, the costumes, the set designs, the locations, it all looks great. It looks very big budgeted, which clearly they are throwing a lot of money at this, which they've actually said it might be actually their most expensive TV show ever. I mean, this thing might be even more expensive than movies, especially long term, right? I don't know if this is true. Apparently it's 100 million per episode or something, which is wild. So you're telling me it's 800 million per season? And to be honest, that might rise as the season goes on, especially with obviously, when you get to like Goblet of Fire with dragons and all that sort of stuff. We could be getting to the point where, seasons are costing over $1 billion. But we'll touch on that, because that's whether or not we even get to that point. And this is something I actually do want to mention. But yeah, I watched the trailer and I'm not gonna lie, there's some really great shots there, right? Like I said, seeing the Golden Trio in their costumes, seeing some sort of the iconic locations like Hogsmeade, obviously seeing Hogwarts, seeing obviously the platform. I was like, whoa, I felt a bit nostalgic, But as the trailer ended, I remember I said this around halfway through the trailer. I was thinking, I'm still waiting for that like big moment. Like I'm still waiting for that feeling, or like it's Harry Potter, like I'm back in the wizarding world. And it never landed, right? And I was like, I wonder if this is going to be something that could plague the series when it comes out. As I said, we've only seen a glimpse. But you know what? From what I've seen and from what people are saying online, I actually do agree with what a lot of people are saying. I think what a lot of people are saying are right. I just think the way some people are going about it is kind of wrong. And I think that's the issue, right? But a lot of people are talking about like the colour grading, right? And you've seen the picture, and I'll show it up on here. It's obviously the scene between Ron and Harry on the train when they're kind of meeting for the first time. And you're seeing it here from the 2001 Philosopher's Stone film. And now you're seeing it from obviously the shot which appears in the trailer for, the 2026 Harry Potter TV show. Which, yeah, it is coming out in 2026. Christmas, by the way, which, I'm going to say it, I think it's a perfect release date. That could not be more perfect. Because I always get elements of like a Christmas vibe from Harry Potter anyway. Because they obviously tackled the Christmas season in some scenes. But anyway, doesn't the shot from the trailer look like it takes place from Prisoner of Azkaban? Doesn't it? Remember when they're on the train, right? And Prisoner of Azkaban is a big tonal shift from the story anyway, and the movies, because the whole sort of like vibe and sort of like the way it looks shifts, especially when you get the scene when the Dementors are coming, and it kind of goes all like grey, bluey, sort of like dark, sort of like colour, right? Like the colour grading of it. But that's exactly what this shot already is looking like, and this is literally the first proper actual meeting and conversation between Harry and Ron, and this is in the Philosopher's Stone. Like, it's supposed to give you that sort of vibe of like being very bubbly, being very like light-hearted, very kiddly, if that's a word. You know what I'm saying? Now, Of course, filmmaking and the way sort of like things are sort of shown visually are very different, especially from 25 years ago, which is kind of crazy to think that the first Harry Potter film came out 25 years ago. Wow. But you look at it in terms of the shot in the TV show, and as I said, it's like it's in Prison of Azkaban, but this is something that I've noticed with all HBO shows. They have this sort of like, also the Dragon has it as well, they have this sort of like bluey, grey, dark sort of colour grading or tone like all the time. And it's not even just HBO shows, but it's actually a lot of shows and even some films in this sort of day and age. That's why they all look the same. Whatever this new filmmaking technique is, right, they need to stop it. Like, we're losing a lot of the creativity, because one of the most important and one of my favourite aspects of filmmaking is visual storytelling, visual representation, you know, in terms of whatever you're seeing on screen, and colour is a big factor in that. Even if it's just something really like, you know, mundane, like say you've just got a normal mundane scene, the way that obviously will look will still actually have an impact in terms of how you're viewing it. But yeah, it's like just stuff like that. And I know you could say it's been a bit nitpicky, maybe we have to wait until we see the full scene. Yeah, we probably do, but like I said, we can only go by what we've seen, right? So yeah, that was a bit strange. It's like literally we're already on the third season already, right? But the other main issue I have, it's not like I have like a big insane issue with it. It's more like I just don't really like the first look that we've already gotten so far, and it is obviously our first look of Severus Snape. Now, before people start sending, no, nothing against the actor. No one should be literally sending any hate towards him. I cannot believe, right, because if you've read his interview from a few days ago, he's literally said he's received death threats and all that. I mean, how pathetic must you be to send an actor who literally just went in for a sort of audition, which he probably didn't even know was for Severus Snape to begin with, right? Because it was probably just a big open casting sort of cool audition where they were looking for people of all race between a certain age range, and he just went in and did it. Obviously, he got picked because he was the best one there. But I don't get how people are literally sending him death threats and hating on him personally. It's absolutely, it's literally stupid. It's barbaric. It's pathetic. Like, it's not good enough. And I'm not here to hate on him. I'm just, one thing I've never gotten, right? And I think what I'm about to say here is like, I'm about to deep it for a second, right? So we've basically seen majority of all the casting. We've seen a lot of the main characters, a lot of the main supporting characters, and we've also seen a lot of minor characters, but who we do recognise from the books and the movies, right? 95% of that, they've kind of casted to a T. And when I say to a T, I don't mean that these actors are going to be absolutely incredible in the role, because that's obviously we have to wait for that. I mean, they've kind of gotten the look and the sort of mannerisms and the sort of height and the way they should be, which is obviously akin to how they're described in the books. Because remember what they keep saying, this is going to be a very faithful adaptation. Now, when it comes to Snape, probably the most important character in the whole entire saga, a very, you know, integral character, a very iconic character, you would assume, going by what they keep saying, that they're going to stay very faithful to the way he's described in the books. And yeah, they haven't. They've kind of race swapped him, which I just don't get why still. I know this is old news, and I know people were talking about it, but obviously we finally see him. And let me just say, right, my main issue with the look, by the way, is, first of all, his costume looks like it's from Temu, right? And I don't like the dreads. I don't know why they've gone with the dreads. Maybe it'll grow on me. That's the thing. This is just a sort of still frame image. And sometimes they do look a little bit weird and iffy in certain forms of media sometimes, right? We have to see more. I know I keep repeating that, but we do. It's only fair then, isn't it? But already, I'm not really liking the first look. I just think it looks a bit silly. It looks like he's from Wish. You know what I'm saying? But this is the thing, right? He literally could put in an Oscar-worthy performance as Snape. He literally could capture the mannerism to a T with Snape. He could be so good as Snape, and it won't be enough, unfortunately. And this is why it's really sad, and I feel very sorry for him, right? Because he doesn't deserve this hate. He's kind of been put in a sort of like a lose-lose situation. But I will say this, right? Because he said something when he kind of got interviewed, when he was talking about the death threats he got received. He says that even though he's getting all that, that's just adding more fuel to the fire for him to really make sure he does this performance justice, and he really just goes all out. And I really respect that, right? Like, he's taking all the negativity and it's actually trying to make him do much more better in terms of really capturing this role right. Obviously, at the end of the day, though, we are the main judges of that. I don't really care what some of these reviewers, like these professional reviewers, want to say. That they're not important. It's the general public. That's who opinions count. And so far, no one's really happy. So who knows what they're going to say when this show finally does drop around Christmas time. But you know, that's the unfortunate situation that he's in. I've given my point. Like I said, I've got nothing against the actor himself. You know, he probably seems like a really nice guy. He's probably going to do a great job. I just don't think that's going to be enough, unfortunately. But talking about another actor, or should I say a young actress, who's playing a insanely important role, we got to talk about Arabella Stanton, who is playing Hermione. Now, this is where it's a bit weird for me, right? Because this may sound a bit hypocritical, especially what I've just said with Snape, and a bit contradictory, but I haven't really got too much of an issue in terms of the way she kind of looks. I don't get how people are hating on the way she looks. She's literally like an 11-year-old girl. Why are you hating and obviously being rude to a young girl? Like, what is wrong with people? It's so stupid. There's nothing wrong saying, oh, I would prefer if she was more this colour. But yet again, it's just the way people are going about it when they're just hurling threats and being rude and being very disrespectful. It's just pathetic. But yeah, anyway, I'm pretty sure she's like Portuguese or something like that, right? Which obviously has made her, obviously you can see with her sort of like skin colour and all that, obviously that's why she looks the way she does. But I haven't actually got too much of a problem with that. I think this fits. This works for me. I don't know. Like I said, I know it sounds a bit crazy. I think the Snape one is just a bit too jarring. But I think with this one, it works, right? And yet again, like I said, this is something that could plague the show. Is that maybe it gets to the point where actors just start leaving because they're just getting way too much hate, and then it could all just fall apart. Like, who? I mean, it's not guaranteed that they're gonna reach all 7 seasons. It's not guaranteed that this is gonna go on for 10+ years. It's not guaranteed that any of these actors are gonna want to stay in these roles. I wouldn't be surprised if we get to the point where we get so many sort of like actor swaps or people replacing, you know, their roles and all that sort of, because they just don't want to do it anymore. Like, I really hope not. I really hope I'm wrong, but that's just the sort of vibe and feeling I'm getting. And I know I've kind of gone way off topic with what actually the trailer's about. I'm sorry about that, but you know, this kind of needs to be said because it is a very integral thing that is going on with the whole situation with, you know, the Harry Potter TV series. But actually, to go back to the trailer, there's some really great shots, right? I think the actor who's playing Ollivander, he's great. He's a great actor, by the way. If you've never seen him before, I mean, he's in Game of Thrones, he's in Andor, he's in a lot of other stuff. He's really great. I actually think he looks really good in this role. People may disagree. I think he looks great, and a few others as well. I think they look great. But shall I tell you who I'm a bit iffy on? Right? Ron. Like, he looks the part, but I don't know. There's just something about him. I'm just like, nah, I'm not feeling it. You know what I mean? Also, with the guy who's playing Draco, you've all seen the picture. I mean, look at the picture. He looks like the most least intimidating bully ever. And I know Draco's kind of supposed to be like that. That's the way it's also shown in the movies, right? You can't really take him seriously. It's just because of who he is and who his family are. People follow him, right? But when we see when he's by himself and all that, he's, you know, he's not the toughest ever. He just kind of puts on a bit of an act, right? But this guy and his hair, I mean, seriously, this guy's really trying hard to be like a cool guy. But yeah, again, look, it's a quick little 2-second preview in the trailer. Like, we need to see more of this, and this is all what it's going to come down to, right? But yeah, you know, a few of the characters look really great. I think the actor who's playing Harry, he looks great. He looks spot on as Harry, right? Yet again, it's all about, can he deliver as Harry? But yeah, everyone else looks great. Nick Frost, he looks great as Hagrid, by the way. And also, this picture of Dumbledore, he looks fucking great, by the way. I know I keep saying by the way, but by the way. Like, he looks great. But yeah, you know, that was the trailer. I know I barely divulged into it. I apologise. Oh, actually, one more thing, which, oh my god, I can't believe this. This is something I'm actually very nervous about, is the music. And you're probably thinking, what, the music? Have you seen who's going to be composing the show? Yes, I have. And I love the people who are composing. They're some of my favourite composers of all time, right? But the music didn't do it for me. I thought the music was very, 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 it was like very mundane. It felt very safe. Like I said, I was expecting this trailer to be like a big boy going all out, really showing what this is like, what they were truly made of, like really trying to get the fans on board, right? Well, don't get me wrong, look, millions and millions and millions and millions of people around the world already love this. You know, they love the trailer, they love the whole Harry Potter TV show. That's great, right? I hope to be one of them in terms of that level. But I don't know, I really was hoping that it's going to play into the classic Hedwig theme, right? During the trailer, and it doesn't. And I thought, I wonder if that's even going to be a thing that's going to be in the show. I really hope they do not replace or abandon the main Harry Potter theme music from the movies. I feel like it's integral. It's always in all different sort of forms of media when it comes to Harry Potter. It's even elements of it are in Hogwarts Legacy as well. So I really hope they just don't completely change it. I feel like that actually takes a lot of it away. Back to, as I was saying much earlier in the video, of that whole sort of like that feeling like of like we're in the wizarding world, that sort of like magical feeling. Because you know what? How it should have ended, the trailer, is when it shows the release date, they literally should have just went dun 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 dun. Okay, maybe not like that, but you know what I mean. But yeah, sorry, I've kind of just been rambling on. I've kind of just gone a bit all over the place because there's just so many things in my mind that I wanted to talk about, and I've kind of just mixed and matched it all. So I really do apologise. But look, we're all Harry Potter fans. You know, we all want this to be good. I know some people are just going to hate just to hate, but you know, that's just the sort of day and age we're in. But I'm very curious, and trust me, I really am. What do you actually really think about the trailer? And I want you to be completely honest. If you really do not like it, please let me know. Like, what worked for you, what didn't? Are you kind of skeptical? What are you looking forward to the most? What are you not looking forward to? And do you actually think, that it will reach its full 7 seasons, 10+ year plan? Because I don't know, I'm still not convinced that it will, but you know, we're just gonna have to see. I think a big part of it all relies on the first season, the first few seasons, I think. But yeah, you know, no doubt there's going to be more information and news over the next coming months or the whole year. And when there is, you know, I'll be here talking about it. Like I said, you know, I talk about things that are just on my mind, that I find very curious, that I'm very passionate about. That's basically the whole gist of this channel. And, you know, Harry Potter's one of them. So yeah, if you want to see more Harry Potter content, just please let me know. Trust me, you know what I'm saying? Just say whatever you want. Like, I'll just talk about anything at this rate. But yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Bye!